Do you guys do like a hard intro on the Almost Friday pod, or do you guys kind of just like roll into it?
No, we kind of usually waltz in, and it'll be like, in like documentaries,
Yeah.
when they're like adjusting their tie when they're sitting down, they're like, "Do I look this way?" It's kind of like that. That's how our pod starts.
Yeah.
As much as I make fun of documentaries, we kind of just cut into the middle of a conversation.
It feels like that. That's why I ask. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we do that like because me and Liam, we're very good friends. We live together, so we're already talking about something before Emily's like actually ready to go and produce the pod. So it's all natural.
You guys just love to chat.
Well, that's what I'm going to try to start doing here. Because usually when I start, by the way, it starts like this. Ready? I go, all right, we're going. And then I sit and look at the microphone for like 15 seconds. And I go, all right, guys, welcome to Elevator Pitch.
But what you ultimately craft is exceptional.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Leo clip where he's getting in the zone.
Yeah, it's literally
ready to shake a hand. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
All right.
That's for Will to decide.
I'll figure it out later.
Enough futzing.
Who is this?
Yeah.
Robert
That's our
Edgars.
director.
Lie down. Turn to liquid.
All right, guys, welcome back to Elevator Pitch. The only podcast pitching fake movies to Robert Eggers in some year in the future, we'll say.
Futuristic.
I'm here with the only podcaster who haunts my night wanderings and visions, Will Peters.
I was worried it wasn't going to be me.
I liked that it was on theme.
Yeah.
Your intro of him. You're very quick.
Thank you.
He's a pro.
I've been thinking about that for 5 days.
Local pro, Matt.
And we're joined by the voice you hear. Special guest on the podcast. Podcaster of his own here of the Almost Friday pod and Almost Friday TV. His Netflix special Bad Words has been out for a while. I've been seeing it. Will Angus right here.
If you could snap, Will,
sure.
thank you.
Yes, I'm
Thanks,
snapping.
My Coors Light.
I've been bugging Will for months to come on.
Yeah,
I know.
He has.
I love this idea.
And he's always been pro Eggers. He's always been ready to hop in, mix it up, rub elbows with Robert.
Well, to be fair, it's because I'm so unoriginal and uncreative. I only have one idea, so it had to be this one.
Well,
And I was pretty firm on that.
but thankfully, Robert Eggers just released a new movie that we could talk about, and so you could get out that one take.
correct.
Well,
And
Will,
we're happy to feel
before
that.
you came in here, when we were scheming against you. No, before you came in here, though, I had told
Against me.
I had told Will that that I think this is like our longest gestating episode.
Yeah, this has been on the books for a while.
We need to marinate.
This was like this was gonna happen.
We were waiting for Nosferatu, and
Yeah.
then we were waiting 3 weeks after Nosferatu came out as well.
Yeah, thank you for waiting for me.
Yeah, of
It's all
course.
good.
I mean, and LA waited for us too.
Yes.
we couldn't do it.
They did, actually.
Yeah, they were very nice. So, but we've had a blast coming into the new year.
Oh, yeah.
Experiencing life, and we're ready to discover what Robert Eggers is up to these days.
I think that is the key word, to discover.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
Yeah.
yeah, it's super clear.
Give us a prompt.
Yeah. With Nosferatu, his newest film, Robert.
Bobby.
Did you see it in IMAX or?
I saw it in 35 millimeter.
Okay.
At the Belcourt Theater in Nashville. Whenever I'm home, I try to see one movie at the Belcourt because I like it. It's a good theater. It's like the one art house theater in Nashville. And friend of the pod, Jack Tucker, me and him.
Former guest. Yeah.
The films we've seen there. I think there's 2. But he is that theater is great, and it was an interesting watch there. I thought that I don't know if you guys had this experience with Nosferatu, but our audience was very they laughed a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, and
A lot
thought
of
that was-
Defoe chuckles in my
yeah,
audience.
and I'm all for a Defoe chuckle. I'm there for that. There was a lot of like uncomfortable chuckles that I thought were very, very odd. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I always feel like when this happens to me, I get sad. Like if I'm enjoying a movie and people laugh at something that's supposed to be serious, it makes me feel really small.
Yes.
Like I don't know, something's wrong with me that I'm not getting what they're getting.
I totally get what you mean, because there were several moments in this movie. I mean, literally the last moment of this movie when it cuts to black, goes to credits.
Yeah.
Our audience, and it's a pretty stark image. You know, if you spoiler warnings for the folks at home, but we've just seen Count Orlok have vicious sex with Lily Rose Depp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the sun comes up and he dies. He dies on top of her. We get to see his decomposing body And
every guy's dream, right?
Bingo, right here. We literally see like a top-down shot of them, and it cuts to black, and my audience broke into laughter.
Wow, yeah.
I was like, what is going on?
Dude, I always think when that's happening, I'm like, what if the director was here?
He'd be ashamed.
It's just like everyone had such a different reaction to it. Like I was kind of laughing sometimes when like Orlok was talking.
Yeah. Because it's such an interesting voice he's got going on there. Such a thing. He's doing
it's like
there.
it's like out of like a Popeye cartoon or something.
Well, that's kind of the. Don't you think that Robert Eggers is, and based on the movies that he says he like referenced, like The Innocents and all these movies that are like from like the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, where it's like his idea of like frightening horror might be so classical that like to an audience that's like brain rotted, it's kind of like this could be a meme, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's taken so seriously. But then again, I was about to say, like, and Will, you know, like I don't watch a lot of horror, but like I don't necessarily know what would, in terms of like vampire makeup, that kind of thing, like what would really truly make me shiver. Because I wasn't like laughing at Count Orlok. Mm-hmm. I thought he looked pretty disturbing. Mm-hmm. But I also wasn't like, I can't go to sleep tonight after seeing that.
Yeah.
I think for me, it wasn't even really like the design or like the visual. It was the voice that made me chuckle a little. But I thought he did a great job of like you're saying, like I'm not terrified. It didn't feel like a horror movie to me. But like when he's like sucking the blood out of their chest, that will literally be seared into my brain forever.
Yeah.
The noise, like.
It's visceral.
It was horrifying.
Yes.
Grotesque.
If you will.
If you may.
Which I may. It is.
We can't use that word on
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Honestly, that's kind of one of our.
Overused.
It's one of our bad words.
We have sponsors.
Honestly, while I was watching the movie, like one of the main things I kept thinking, like it truly did, like it had like a dreadful like feeling to it because it's so like it is such a slow film, and his films have like such a distinct pacing to them. They're very purposeful. He's a very earnest filmmaker, and I think you make a great point that audiences today do have like his movies are unlike anything else you can see in a theater. And like when you see the sets of this movie, like it does feel straight out of like a 1960s Hammer horror movie. Like I was watching
Your bag.
which is me and my father's bag. I grew up on that stuff. And so to watch it in 2024, December 26, 2024, some will see it this year. To see it in that year,
you've already spoiled
in a theater, I'm like, this is just so. It is very strange that he is so committed to making movies, recreating films, and in a way that he grew up with, and like in movies that he responded to when he was a kid. A movie that he watched when he was like 9.
Yeah,
one of the most classic horror films of all time, and just kind of to almost remake it. Not shot for shot, but more like beat for beat, basically.
Yeah, he stayed true to what I'm told is what it is.
Yeah. The text.
Have you seen it? Yes.
We
have the Old Testament.
Yeah, of course. The original scriptures. I have watched most of it, and then it did one day play in the edit bay to completion. Do you remember this, Tanner? Nosferatu played start to finish.
Like silent German movies playing
Or
there?
am I talking to Robert Eggers?
Oh, it's Robert Eggers.
I think what you meant to ask was...
R.E.
I think what you meant to ask was, Nosferatu, did you see Tanner watching you in the edit bay? In which case, no, I don't remember that.
You're Nosferatu?
And I was in the movie.
Nosferatu,
if
let me
that's
just
what
say.
we're talking about.
You look great.
Your stroke game, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Very strong.
You are a horny devil.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
You made me feel bad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a step back here.
I think we should dig deeper. That's movie,
for the Patreon.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, which we will record after. That whole that whole movie played in its entirety in the edit bay, of course, in its natural silence. And I caught a few images up there. I hadn't seen it since probably freshman year of college. I probably watched most of it in a class. But it was interesting. I know the big picture covered. Like they talked to Eggers and him talking about he really did just want to like recreate the movie today. Like it wasn't like he was applying like any sort of new like thematic lenses to it.
Well, it's really good that he didn't, because my audience had that covered, texting the entire time in the movie. I mean, no, this was like the most like screens I've seen in a movie theater.
Really?
Ever.
Robert Eggers would combust if he saw an iPhone. If he saw an iPhone.
You know what the other thing is now too, by the way?
He
Not
would
to
melt.
get-
Like at the end of the movie. Sorry, we'll
a
continue.
raven would consume him. But no, like the Apple Watches too are always on in the movie
Buzzing.
theaters.
Yeah.
And like you have like a neon green 9:08 p.m. like in the corner of your eye is like Lily Rose Depp is, you know.
Really giving her all.
Yeah.
She's doing stuff up there.
But anyway,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
We talked about how you wanted to do Robert Eggers before Nosferatu came out for a long time. 2 questions. 1, did you like Nosferatu? First question.
Yeah.
Will Angus. 2, second question, why Robert Eggers in the first place?
Okay, let me start with the second actually first.
Yeah.
The reason is because since I read this book in my senior year of high school, I've always thought like, holy fuck, this would be the best. This would be such a good movie if it was adapted to a modern audience. And so then I saw, when I saw The Northman, I was like, oh shit, he could do that movie. And that was kind of just always sitting in the back of my head. So when I heard about this, I was like telling Will about my idea. But then we'll get to that.
Eggers.
That's a little teaser.
Yeah.
But
You'll find out.
I did like it. I would say this. I thought it was one of the best trailers I had ever seen for a movie.
Great trailer.
And I think the movie was as good as the trailers. If that sounds like an insult, but I was like, it delivered, but I didn't get any more out of it than I thought I would. It was, I think, so far everyone I've talked to, I've had the opposite opinion where I really didn't enjoy. I didn't think the first third of the movie was that great, and then I really enjoyed the latter half of the movie, even though I felt like they kind of spent way too little time on like you have 3 nights to whatever.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That was good. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I agree.
Nosferatu agrees
Sorry,
with you.
I didn't mean to insult you.
Mary Shelley.
Yeah.
Mary
Shelley?
He's now become Mary Shelley.
Oh,
I've always been Mary Shelley.
He changes.
I'm so sorry.
It's kind of like the staircases in Harry Potter. They like to move on their own, and he shifts quite often.
Rogue reference.
Great reference.
Those will fly. Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. I think it was solid. I was not disappointed at all. If anything, it was just I set my own expectations too high. It was great.
Yeah. I think that the movie, honestly, comparing it to like the trailer, like in terms of like what is in there, is honestly like is pretty apt in the sense that like I felt similar, like it was, and I do have this feeling with Eggers a little bit where, in a way, like when his movies end, there's so much like history and there's so much baked into the production and into the sets of the movies that there's inevitably going to be much to chew on. But also at the same time, like his stories, they're pretty like beat to beat, like they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So that kind of when it ends, it's like the story is over, and I'm kind of done thinking about the story. And then the focus becomes like what actually was there, like in the craft and the performances. Because when this movie ended, I kind of like it was a little bit of a feeling. We've seen this story before. We haven't seen it necessarily in this way.
No, finish and then I'll.
But it was certainly like I was like I feel like I got my Nosferatu experience. I just couldn't stop thinking about like the production of the film, more so than the movie itself.
Like you're saying, the gulping of the blood and
Man, that gulping, really unsettling.
you know, speak for yourself,
Please,
Will Peters.
I do.
Because to be honest, I think my exposure to Nosferatu / Dracula / anything revolving around vampires, not Twilight, basically. Not saying I'm a Twilight super fan, but
You can
We've
if you want.
discussed this on the pod before, actually.
I just
September
watched.
Shame.
Did I tell you I watched?
Yeah, we
Twilight
September
recently?
Shame. Anyway,
Okay, great.
Anyway,
wanted to get that out of the way.
no, but like I think my only Dracula exposure legitimately is Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I think so. I literally
Dracula
think
the
so.
musical?
Yes. Yeah.
Good for you.
Peter Renner's musical and Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
And literally, I'm watching this movie and Willem Dafoe, like, you know, it's funny. Willem Dafoe, he like narrates the trailer basically, and he's not in the movie for like the part of the movie that you thought was kind of weak. And I agree with you.
That was surprising.
Once he starts delivering exposition in the middle of the movie, being like science doesn't know what this is, then you're like, oh shit, all right, now I understand what this is about.
Yeah.
And before that, I was completely lost for most of the part. But
do you think they wrote any lines for Willem Dafoe, or they just pitched him the character and they were like, just, you know what to do?
They find him in the post and he just
Show up, please.
Well, that was
roll.
like the biggest first laugh of like my movie theater. It was almost like when you see like Top Gun in theater and like Ed Harris like, you're going back to Top Gun, and the crowd's like, ah. With Willem Dafoe's like, hee, everyone's like, ah.
It is there. You could feel this tension of like the whole time I'm thinking like, I cannot fucking wait for Willem Dafoe to come out here like Van Helsing style.
And
he just start blasting.
Comes out like a wrestler.
Yeah, he does. He has a whole warm-up song and everything. Yeah,
But then he delivers like this is what Dracula's about. And like like I'm saying, I literally had like, this is not my type. I don't see like any monster movies. I'm not a huge horror person. I watched like 3 Robert Eggers movies this week.
Me too.
Yeah, and like I think that like me not knowing anything about Dracula kind of like hurt the first part of the movie. But then once Willem Dafoe was like, this is kind of like the story of Dracula here, I was like, all right, like cool.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, none of the like the verbiage, is that the right word? I don't know. Like none of that sticks with me as much as like, you know, the like visual stuff, and then also the like scene work itself, you know, like the way they kind of like set things up a little bit.
I totally agree with that. Like for me, like I think it's kind of like everyone agrees like Northman would be like the weakest of his movies, but like it's still so visually stuck. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's my favorite Eggers movie.
Okay, wow. Well, I love it.
Yeah.
All of his movies are great. So I just think like in terms of like story, maybe, I don't know, but the
Simple.
visuals are so amazing, even though it's like a simple like revenge story. You know what I mean? You kind of know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like it because it's the least supernatural, and I'm just like far more like into the historical, as you'll see a little bit of my pitch, but like historical epic rather than like, you know, this is a vampire or witch trial story, which is like cool to me, but like I just don't like connect with it enough to.
Right.
It's interesting. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
Will, like oh sorry.
No. I was actually going to add on to that, like the supernatural part. Like, I was surprised how quickly they just kind of dunk the supernatural on you. Like when Nicholas Holt's character is like his first approach to the mansion, the carriage pulls up with nobody in it. I was like, oh, we're just getting right into like the like I guess that's kind of the point. Like, is it real or is it part of like Orlok's casting a spell or a dream on him? But it was like right away out of nowhere, it's like now he's bought into this spiritual haunting stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like it's kind of hard to tell what was what.
Yeah, and I think that like especially with the witch, which I recently saw, I was like almost like you're being gaslit yourself on like if anything is demonic.
Yeah.
Other than like, you know, there is like a witch, but you're not like, you don't know who or what is interacting with it.
Yeah.
And then I like that better than like when you're saying like the carriage kind of opens and you're like, all right, this is, and he just gets in it, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, maybe this, they do shit weird.
But then
here.
back to our point, it looked fucking sick.
Look cool.
It looked
looks
really
excellent.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I honestly think what's so interesting about Eggers, and we've seen him make 2 movies, The Northman and The Lighthouse, which are definitely like not horror movies. Like the Northman especially, obviously, is not a horror movie. He is far more interested in like folklore and like history than he is like genre of any kind.
Or jump screams.
Exactly.
There's like 1 or 2 in each of those. None in the Northman, but
he like, I mean, he doesn't say discreetly or he doesn't say overtly. But it definitely feels like it's the influence of like Chris Columbus being the executive producer.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Him being like, you need to make a movie that people will watch. Like, you know, people watch his movies, but they're spending a lot of money. We need to make some money back. So like initially at first.
That was what was crazy about The Northman. It made money on video on demand.
Yeah, it
Made
did.
a ton of money. Yeah, so it didn't do well in the theaters. And then it's the only Eggers movie other than Nosferatu I guess I've seen in the theaters. I fell asleep during it and then woke up when they were fighting naked on a volcano, and I was like, I've missed something. But like, yeah, no one saw it in the movie theater. And then video on demand, middle of COVID, everyone was like,
I gotta check that out.
I think everyone saw the guy catch the spear,
Which is great.
in the trailer, and they were like,
Yeah. I mean, he's interesting because kind of like, because he always gets compared to Ari Aster because their careers are kind of like, they're not step for step because Ari Aster comes like a couple years after The Witch, but then they're linked because they do, I mean, their episode of the A24 podcast they basically do 90 minutes where they're battling to see who can reference the most obscure European film ever.
Oh God,
It's a duel.
It's unbelievable.
It's like your TCU film classes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like because they're pulling out movies that don't exist. They've never existed. They won't exist ever. And they're naming them. And then they pair like, oh, I love that movie. It kind of reminds me of.
Should we do like 5 minutes on that in this one right here?
We probably should. I've listened to this episode multiple times. Like, it's once they get going, you're in a trance. Like it's unbelievable. But like they get linked together a lot. And they have like they're drawing from similar things. They both have like such a historical background and influence. But both of them always like to push back. Like they're not horror directors in like the classic sense. Like they're not like a John Carpenter going out there, or like they're going out there to make the stories they like.
A James Wan.
Yeah. And they're trying to get movies made, tell stories, and do like all the crafts parts. But it's more like to make those movies, they have to have genre-leaning elements to them to make them, just sellable, like marketable. That was the biggest thing with, like, I know he talks about with The Witch. He's like, nobody would read The Witch because it was so weird at first. He's like, I had to find a way to make it, like, somewhat marketable. He also then stumbled into casting Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah,
that's
she's
a pretty good
incredible in that
leader
movie.
there. Yeah. But it's like he had to find ways to make, like, to sell a movie, which is, I mean, honestly, like, so many, I think, filmmakers, it's a great lesson to learn, like, how to actually get your movies sold.
We still haven't learned it. We've been pitching 40 of these so
well, that's
far.
the thing
Nobody
is,
will buy it.
us three, we will never compromise on our creative vision.
Yes,
Exactly. We never
unlike
have.
Robert Eggers.
Yeah,
You.
and so he's a sellout,
Yeah.
and so he actually, in the end, like, we win.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, how does it feel to be a sellout?
Yeah.
Scumbag.
Honestly, as a guy that has not only seen but has recommended, and that's important, the Andrei Tarkovsky movie, The Sacrifice,
Of course.
as well as Joseph Losey's The Servant. I think that really the level that I'm on is just so far surpassed what your guys' film even comprehension can get to that I don't even know what the end of this sentence is going to be. Basically, is what I'm going with.
I just got dunked on.
That's a real Sawyer take, but wait till you get to
Autumn Sonata by Ingmar Bergman. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I feel like I want to go into like a Goodwill Hunting, like, and they'd be like,
about to say
it'd be like, oh, now you're gonna start referencing, Otto von Ottotson and the Norwegian silent expressionism era.
Or like Foul Document by Pharaoh Documents, Ingmar Bergman.
Rob. Can I call you Rob?
No.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, that was insane.
I'm gonna call you Bob.
You can call me Hillary.
Oh,
Hillary.
Swank.
It's like, don't get political.
Why?
I like him.
Because I've been in a couple of those Hammer movies.
I like him.
Really?
What are they called? Hammer film?
Hammer horror movies?
Bingo.
What is that?
That's
Yeah, I didn't know
the
what that was. I was nodding my head too.
I'll give you a little history here.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, this is
Hammer
your
horror-
episode here.
Yeah.
You've been waiting for
You're
this
really
one.
steamrolling.
I'm ready to rock. And thanks for being able to be steamrolled so easily. I really appreciate that, both of you. Hammer
Not since
horror.
Nosferatu.
Bingo. Hammer horror was. They do still exist. They're a British film production company that really got their start in. They probably started in like the 40s, but they really got going in the 50s and the 60s. And how they made their money is they just recreated Universal monster movies, but they put them in like a more of like a classical period sense. Like they did ghost stories, they did zombies, they did like 6 or 7 Frankenstein, 6 or 7 Dracula movies, like, and they churned these things out, and they have the same actors. Peter Cushing is in every one of these movies.
Well, famously, that's where I played Dracula the first time.
Christopher Lee.
Bingo.
Yeah, there you go. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, they duel like 1,000 times. And they just like they had it down. Like it was like it's a classic studio system way of making movies where they were just churned them out. And a lot of them are really, really great. They're great like reimaginings of like the Universal movies because most of them are in color too. So it's like,
boo. That's where film died.
yeah,
did,
film
yeah.
did die with Technicolor, but they
thought
did a
it
good
died
job.
with sound.
Once it went widescreen,
I stopped watching.
actually
you jumped the
sued.
shark at that point.
The screen can't possibly be this wide.
What more do you need to tell?
How much image do you need? But the Hammer horror movies, like that was what I was really, and was really thinking about when I was watching Nosferatu. They're really similar in their formula, where it's like Willem Dafoe is like a Peter Cushing like figure, where it's like all those movies, the first scene of any of the Dracula movies, a carriage pulls into a small town, and it's a Nicholas.
Is there anyone in the carriage though?
It's a Nicholas Hoult-like character, and he's like, "I'm here to see a Count Dracula."
That's the title of the movie.
and the townspeople go, "What?" and he's like, "I'm just here on research." And they go, "Well, if you must, he's at the top of that very dark hill." And he goes, "I guess I better go." And so he, of course, is in big trouble. And it's like he brings in, which in Nosferatu is Ralph Ineson, he brings in like a local scientist. And that guy is a total dope. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Sure.
He's like, I don't know.
them.
I guess we must bleed this woman. And then Ralph Ineson, in these movies, always some random British guy. He's like, there is one guy, and it's always Peter Cushing. He comes in, he's electric, and he's like, I've been telling Sweden for years that Dracula's no good, and they kill that fucker. And it was the exact same thing where it's Willem Dafoe comes in, and I was like, holy shit, it's Peter.
Oh, wow.
He's been dead for years.
All of this flew over my head.
And I'm so glad it did.
I got bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Oh no, not of your story. Of this in the movie.
No,
But
it is like it. That was, again, it was like he's making a movie that has been made like legitimately so many times before, and yet it still like felt even more foreign watching it now, like in an audience, than it certainly would have in the 50s and 60s. Like he's like a film. It's weird that he has like such a following and that his movies have made really good money. The Northman ultimately does make money like on the back end, but it's amazing his movies make money because he makes movies in like such an old like classical way of making them.
Yeah.
That it's just like very rare. I don't know. He's very weird.
It doesn't. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think that I always think about this when I see movies like his, like. If I were given the script and didn't know what it was and hadn't seen the movie, I'd be like, this thing fucking sucks. Because I don't understand how he's able to like do it so well, like translate it on the screen and make it like engaging. When it's like, no one wants to read the story of Dracula. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's a
Count?
That's the one. 2, 3.
And he counts.
That's why they. I get it now. All right,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know. Maybe that's just a me problem though. Sometimes I'll watch movies and I'm like, if I read this as a script, like I'd be so useless because I'd be like, this thing fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like I was watching The
Throw this
Brutalist
away.
and I was like, have you seen The Brutalist?
Yeah. We actually saw it together. Yeah.
I was like, if I read this as a script, I'd be like, holy fuck, this is the worst movie ever written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal.
Yeah. It's very good. I think it's like somehow. I think we're seeing this more and more now, like these directors like a Brady Corbet or a Robert Eggers, like these guys that have a very, very specific, like more like, I guess, highbrow minded, like way of making movies. And they've somehow found people that will fund their movies.
Like
people
Chris Columbus.
Yeah, apparently
Director of
Chris
Home Alone.
Columbus.
Yeah.
The most commercial filmmaker of all time. I mean,
Most
like
twisted fuck in the film industry. Yeah.
the original director of Keith Coogan's breakout work.
Yeah, of course.
A favorite of our pod.
It went over my head.
Yeah, and
so.
that's okay. But
It's not, I'm the guest. You made me feel excluded.
I worked at Sony.
yeah. Keith Coogan. Great to see you.
What movies are you into? Just in general.
I honestly like
Because I was expecting you to say like you're very into Eggers type movies, so it threw me off when you said you weren't. But like, give it to me right now.
No, I'm not really into horror. I really like. I would say his movies to me feel like psychological thrillers, pretty
Oh, okay.
much. or they at least dance on that line. And I really like thrillers. Like I was just showing Liam last night, Mystic River.
I've never seen it.
He came into our office and he said that he's like, have you guys seen it? I have not. And
Liam did?
Yeah, and Liam was like, you guys got to watch it. It's incredible. And then the ending happens, and I was pissed.
They're okay. It's like, this is no spoiler, but like the main character has like, it's like they got the movie to the finish line, and then a producer was like, he needs like a love interest or something.
Okay.
And there's like 2 phone calls with his wife, one at the start of the movie that you're like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And then they don't come back to it till the very end, and it's the most ham-fisted
Interesting.
love story struggle I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
And then they have a weird, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like of the last 15 minutes, the first 10 minutes of those last 15 should be cut out of the movie, then it would be a perfect movie.
Okay.
Okay.
But it is,
I'll pause it.
but I love thrillers.
Yeah.
And that, I would consider that a thriller. And
Yeah.
it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
The Game also.
I like the game.
Game's
Oh,
great.
that was
Sean Penn's sweet in the game. Yeah.
He is.
I think that was the first thriller I saw, and I was like, "Holy!" I just like being so engaged and knowing that, like, I know at the end of the movie I will find out the answer.
Yeah. You'll learn something
Sure.
about yourself and
Yeah.
what they have to say.
Kind of interesting about Edgar is I feel like, especially when you said the Northman, you kind of know. You're like, I hope he gets together with Anya at the end, but
I don't know.
it sounds like he's hungry to die. Yeah.
Sounds like he would like to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love a good slow burn too. Like, I mean, everyone likes Hereditary, but that's like, to me, like, oh, it's such a good slow burn.
I was listening to your podcast once, and you mentioned you guys were talking about a movie. Was it like the one with real tigers or something like that? Or am I remembering this wrong?
Roar?
Yes,
It was
you are remembering it
Roar?
wrong.
I might be. Yeah. Maybe I'm just completely misplacing this.
It's was I saying it was a slow burn type movie?
No, you were saying people died on set. Yeah.
I think we were talking about,
It's completely unrelated.
we might have been talking about the Twilight Zone.
Maybe.
Oh, yes.
That's
no good.
Yeah, because there's in the Twilight Zone, there's that big shoot where like the helicopter crashes and it's caught on camera. Have you seen this?
No.
It's
Well, can you? Is the no TV not on? Okay. Anyway, it is insane. You should look this
we'll,
up.
We'll
after.
pretend like we saw it right now.
Look
and you'll
up
cut it out.
Twilight Zone.
yeah.
Yeah, we got
It's
it.
despicable.
It's 10. Can I pull it up? It's like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
It's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
And John Landis, he was like they went to trial for this.
Oh, really?
It was like unsafe filming conditions.
Landis was the one that had the movie where the helicopter crashed.
Yeah, he's the director of this section of the movie.
Kind of ironic naming.
Couldn't Landis.
I like we have an intro for the deaf.
Okay, just to be clear, like this is if you're comfortable, people die in this video.
Oh. Yeah. Let's check it out.
I sign off.
I think this will really set the tone for the rest of the podcast.
Look at this.
When you first see it, just overwhelming. The gruesome deaths were recorded on numerous cameras and shown repeatedly at the trial.
Oh my God.
Isn't that fucking insane?
That is crazy.
That is an argument to CGI everything.
Yeah, dude. Put AI in movies. Make everything AI.
Yeah, you sound like Common there.
John Landis got
Microsoft AI.
free for that too.
Really? How?
He knew a lot of
I had good lawyers.
good people.
Oh,
John, get the hell out of here and tell your son to get out.
You got
too.
trash to pick up on the side of the highway for what you've done.
Yeah.
Over. Conversation over.
Yeah.
I hope you guys got all your Dracula thoughts
Oh
out.
yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
he is firm.
He's good.
Yeah.
An iron fist.
Yeah.
We can do a little breathing room if you got any more takes on the movie, by the way.
I just have two things to say.
Yeah.
I started laughing after the 45th time that he put someone's face up close and they were screaming and crying.
So
How many fucking times? Why? That,
Lily Rose Depp.
and Nicholas Holt's character.
Yeah.
Like
he did like that. He's hurting.
I think it was literally. I think the count was literally in the 30s of the amount of time they did a close-up screaming. It felt like the trailer just like stitched into.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys are both actors. You know, like that stuff reminds me of like if like a camera's right there and they're like, "All right, like do this," and you're like, "Ah!" All right, go. We
Yeah.
got it. That's what that reminds me
right,
of
now
a
we're
lot
gonna
when you
cut your
keep
head
doing
off.
it over and
Yeah.
over and
Well,
over again.
I thought their performances were phenomenal. I just thought he used that shot so many times that it lost any feeling of like, because like in the trailer, I got like goosebumps watching their reactions because I was like, oh, this is gonna be like really intense,
Yeah.
like haunting. And then they kind of do have that reaction for literally anything that happens, and they use it 30 times.
Yeah.
That was my one big complaint. Love the movie.
I think
8 out of 10.
Yeah. A solid 8. Yeah, I agree with you on the 8.
We should start ranking movies here more often.
Yeah.
Two thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do the what is it?
Eggers, Ebert and
Give the Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah,
report.
Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah. We'll give them. Yeah.
Whoa.
yeah.
I give it a thumbs down and a stinky fart. Now,
You guys should do a Patreon like Mystery Science Theater, where you
that'd be
watch the
fun.
movie with the silhouettes to the back.
a silhouette of me and you would be
Yeah. That'd be
good.
exceptional.
Iconic.
And then also a little
two
robot for
men
Tanner.
crossed legs.
Yeah, yeah. We should only see legs.
Yeah.
Nosferatu.
Tim Robbins
Whoa.
Why?
from Mystic River.
Who won an Academy Award, I think. For that.
Wow.
Oh.
For playing Dave Boyle.
Is that right?
Tim Robbins. I
Congrats,
like you
Tim.
in.
Do you want me to look it up?
You're doing. You know what's crazy is I've had a producer for 2.5 years, and I think she's looked something up once in 150 episodes.
But
or
she's
whatever.
incredible. All right.
Good
well,
for you, Tim.
You guys have fully ran out of time.
Okay, great.
Cool.
Angus, if I can call you that.
Sure.
We've got two different things. Number
Yeah.
one, I'm going to ask you guys a question to figure out who's going to pitch first.
Bingo.
And my question is, because we're talking about Robert Edgers,
Close.
Eggers.
Bobby.
What a testament to his career that with that name he's able to rise to the top.
He's at the
Continue.
top of the chain.
my question is, what year did the Salem witch trials take place?
This is good.
This is really good.
Who answers first?
You want to just call us out?
You can.
Yeah,
can
I'll call
as
you
a
guys
guest.
out.
Okay.
No,
Never mind.
Will's going to go last.
Okay.
Will, you're going to go first.
Okay.
Nope.
No. Different. Switch that.
Switch it.
Oh, I'm gonna go. What?
You go first,
Okay.
Will.
He's so twisted.
1805.
Bad guess. All right. Will, your turn.
1717.
And Matt,
I'm going like 1504.
1504.
I didn't know if I should go to the 15s or the 17s.
They were getting crazy in the
Or if I should go to the
1500s.
2025s. Come on, topical.
Will,
Yeah, hit me.
Which one?
Oh wait, fuck.
the good one. This is one of the best guesses you've ever had on this show.
Thank you. And my only guess.
The year that the Salem witch trials took place was 1692.
Okay.
Damn.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
So that's a Peters win.
Will, nice to meet you.
But that's a Peters win in the place where it doesn't matter.
Oh.
Yeah, I get to decide if I want to go first or last for the pitch. I'll
actually-
kick it off. Hell.
Okay, and the pitch stitch this week is
Oh, yeah.
after you pitch your movie, I'm going to need some sort of what is the animal that's going to be featured as a big thing on the poster?
Oh, that's fun. This is a twist Tanner throws in.
Okay.
Wait, so on the poster there needs to be an animal?
No,
That's-
on the poster it's only going to be an animal.
Okay.
I like this.
I do like that. Oh, I win.
It's kind of like Marley and me.
God. Okay, great. Well, we don't even need to do it.
Love that confidence. But we're going to go Will, and then Matt.
And
right.
firstly, can I say something off pitch clock here?
Okay.
Let me sneak it in. Last week on our episode, Tanner did ask a question that related to a really expensive wedding. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
you know why?
What was the most expensive wedding ever? I believe. Was the
Do you know
question.
why he
Wow.
did that?
Why?
It was because of my engagement.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that until he told me that.
Yeah, a little life
so-
update. Will you've become
Yeah, for
engaged?
Pitch Nation.
Congrats, dude.
Thank you guys.
Will never
We
know.
were gonna do a whole
Yeah.
like catch up.
I don't even know. I'm kind of worried.
We were gonna do a whole like catch up life updates. You know, how was your winter break? You know, how was
life
yours?
really
How's
happened.
And then Harry Krinsky came in
Yeah.
to our lives.
And we had a Harry Krinsky.
No, we flipped. But then the wildfire started, and
Yeah.
it felt wrong to talk about your oncoming
About
marriage.
myself.
Just felt like we shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I don't even know if we're gonna do it.
Will.
Get married, that is. Okay, yeah.
All right, before we get to the pitches, we have our first sponsor here on Elevator Pitch. Today's episode is brought to you by KR Drywall. I know what you're thinking.
drywall movies. What in the world do these two things have in common? What do they have in common? When Will and I sit and ponder upon our pitches, it's always important to start with the right materials. Because an idea is one thing, but making sure the cast of characters and craftsmen behind it is another. Well, guess what?
What?
It's the same when you're building or renovating a home. And that's where the great people at KR Drywall can help you out. If you're in the LA area and looking for licensed drywall work on your residential or commercial property, give Kevin a call at 818-626-6590. That's KR Drywall at 818-626-6590. All right, guys, let's get to the pitches.
Why use wet wall when there's perfectly good drywall right there? Yeah.
Go. Okay.
And with that,
Let me kick it off. My movie is called The Cost of Good Art. And let me say something right up top that really puts you in the mood of Robert Eggers and his headspace. I even think this should be maybe in the title. The Cost of Good Art, a triptych.
Whoa.
Yeah. So let me give you, at first, here. A small town autumn festival in 1950s New Hampshire is where our movie starts. 10-year-old Shelley Highsmith finds herself drawn to a ramshackle booth featuring the work of local recluse artist Henry Franklin in his unusual art style depicting horrific occult activity, which he claims took place just outside their little hamlet in the New Hampshire woods. 30 years later, now a working artist seeking inspiration for her next phase of her career, Shelley returns to her hometown to try and connect with Henry and learn about what really inspired these horrific works. But I did say this is a triptych. All right, we're going to have 3 parts of a little Robert Eggers original here. Part 1 is the 1950s. Young Shelley discovering the work of Henry, and she begins to recreate this work at school. And this artwork will be very, like, we always see the set design and the production design of Robert Eggers movies is, like, exceptional. The artwork, needs to be, like, really, really stand out. Like, it needs to feel like kind of folklore art that can be both beautiful and, like, what the fuck am I looking at? And this 10-year-old child is just drawn to it. She loves this work, and she begins recreating it in class. But it's super graphic. It's horrifying, and it causes an uproar amongst the parents. It plants concerns about Shelley's psyche, and it scares her parents so much that they uproot the family and move from the town and up to New York. Part 2.
Title card.
Title card.
The Brutalist.
1980s Manhattan. Shelley can do no wrong. She's the top of the town, the taste of the town, but she escapes back to her hometown for the first time in 30 years in need of inspiration. She can't stop thinking about Henry's works. She goes back, she tries to track down Henry, but she discovers that he passed away many years ago, and she finds only small paper trails of information, but each piece more confusing and unsettling than the last. Of course. This part 1 ended with them moving up to New York. Part 2 ends with Shelley tracking down the cabin, making her way inside, and finding a secret passageway leading down to a secret basement where she discovers an occult meeting, and she is the guest they've been waiting on.
Ooh.
End of part 2. Part 3, we're going all the way back to the 1930s. We see how the Great Depression has leveled Henry and his family, a wife and 2 beautiful daughters. Henry's a carpenter. He's unable to find work for himself. His hands have no use in this broken economy. How sad. Until he meets on the road Gerald, the leader of a mysterious group traveling through the Northeast. They promise him safety and some prosperity, in return for sacrifice, in which he does sacrifice his daughters, which then leads to his daughters. They are the reason that he connected with a young Shelley. It set the whole cycle in place. It's a real thinker. The common man will hate this movie. It will make no money.
Put that on the poster with your animal.
The common man hates to see this.
It'll be on vision boards for 15 decades, though.
thousands of senior theses will rip from this.
You will be teaching this at your alma mater TCU class. Yeah.
This will be very much inspired by the early works of one known criminal, Roman Polanski, or Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now, even. Shelley will be played, the adult Shelley will be played by Jessie Buckley, who I think legitimately would be great in Robert Eggers from Women Talking.
Yeah. Totally.
Henry Franklin, we got to get Ralph Ineson in here. He's been in all of his, he hasn't been in The Lighthouse, but he's the father in The Witch. He's the guy that suggests they bring in Willem Dafoe for Nosferatu.
That's the same person?
Bingo. What an incredible voice he's got. And then, of course, Geralt. I had to give a
Great name.
Yeah, wait. Can you spell that name for me?
I spelled it Garald.
Yeah, because you put a little ha on that. Yeah.
Incorrect.
I'm sorry. Robert would really contest that.
We're interrupting him. Finish.
Finish.
It was
Finish.
It was Andy Serkis.
No way. The twist is that it's Andy Serkis.
The twist is that you're like, is that Andy Serkis?
Be like, is this Andy Serkis? Not for the common man.
Yeah. No, the common man won't know who that is. So
that was fantastic.
Beautiful
Thank
job,
you.
bro.
God, that was so original.
I need to put an animal on the poster.
Well, I think that Andy Serkis would be the guy.
It's Andy
Tells you what animal
Serkis
it is.
in mocap.
yeah, it's Caesar is on the cover. Yeah. So I'll put a couple apes up there.
Caesar.
Yeah. But probably I'd put like a 13-point buck.
Fuck,
Nice,
yeah,
dude.
That's
You know who you're talking to.
I do.
Robert Eggers.
And God, I would love to see him play around with the historical aspect of this film.
Yeah.
Really, I would.
Hey, and if he selects it, you just might. But if he doesn't, this movie will never happen.
Unless Chris Columbus has something to say about it.
Which I don't.
retirement. Yeah. Okay.
I have to say that I feel like the twist in that, even though it was just you talking about a movie that you made up in your head for 5 minutes,
Sure.
it got me.
You're spooked.
I was kind of hyped.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
was hyped up. All right.
Did you like Ralph Ineson?
Do you want me to be honest or do you want me to not be honest?
Lie.
Don't
Lie.
Yeah, lie.
Lie.
One of my favorite actors. Yeah. All right.
That feels good.
Let's go.
So who's next?
Feels great.
This is going to be the second Will.
Okay.
Okay.
Close my laptop.
Shamefully close it.
Yes.
Will.
We're gonna add a sound effect for that.
Why don't you start now?
Okay.
Yep.
After Nosferatu, Robert Eggers should direct Dante's Inferno.
Whoa.
We've all heard about it. This would be a big swing, a very expensive film. And I think that when you talk about Robert Eggers, you talk about atmospheric dread. And I think that is the big key here for this whole movie. Tagline on the poster, abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Because in Dante's Inferno, in hell, there is no hope. Okay, all the people damned here, when they look at the sky, they don't see stars because stars represent God, and God is absent in hell. There is no redemption for these people. So this is a story about the worst of humanity, the lowest of the human experience, sin and spiritual redemption, okay? These people, Dante's crossing, they're fucking cooked. Their life's over. So yeah, keep in mind these big set pieces when I walk you through the 3 acts here, because I think that that's where most of the budget would go. This is more of a visual vibe movie. Okay, this is more of like an emotional thing rather than like a clever story or with a twist or anything like that. So, okay, beginning of Act 1. This I'm staying true to the text here. Okay. Dante's wife is dead. He's rummaging around in the forest. He doesn't know what to do. You know, he's struggling with his faith and his morality, his desire to live. Okay, and he comes across these 3 animals, Tanner, in the woods,
Caesar,
that represent all of his sins and his shortcomings and stuff. And he has this near-death experience until his dead wife, Beatrice, sends the spirit of Virgil to Dante in the woods and says, there is hope for redemption for you. So he's at the lowest of the low, and his wife beckons him into hell. Act 1 ends on their approach with Charon ferrying them to the gates of hell. And I want you to look at this. I have a little image here I'd like to show. Oh, excellent. Just imagine Eggers. How do I put this full screen? Imagine Eggers bringing up Dante in this gorgeous, grotesque depiction
That's a
of
slam
the
dunk.
gates of hell.
For our listeners, this is orange with a lot of crosses, a lot of fire.
We love it.
And so his descent into hell, the way hell works is it's shaped like a inverse cone with like the sinners getting worse at the bottom. Here's another visual for you.
Wow.
So you can see this epic scale where he's staring down at the bottom, and he knows it's a very long journey ahead. It's going to be a long road to his spiritual redemption. Okay, going back into Act 2. Here's where it kind of becomes a little streamlined. Like each circle of hell kind of relates to like one of the 7 deadly sins, or like betrayal. Stuff like that. So as he's descending in hell, he's coming across people he knows from his former life. They're talking about the political things going on in his world at the time. And I know Robert Eggers, he likes to play around with that historical stuff. He does. So he could do a big tie-in here. And as he's descending into hell, his mental state is also deteriorating. He's seeing what happens if he's unable to change his ways. So the Act 3 would begin when he finally approaches the 9th circle of hell. Now, believe it or not, you'd think this is where the inferno is at its hottest, right? Giant frozen lake.
What?
At the center is a 50-story tall Satan, half frozen in the lake, batting his wings. This would be an epic standoff. I think the grand scale of this movie, it would look beautiful. And the people frozen in the lake are all these big betrayers. Like I think Brutus is in there, the guy who killed Caesar. It's like yep, there you go.
There you go.
Prefer to be called Brute.
I'm obviously referencing Caesar, like Andy Serkis's.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, and I think a fun twist here could be that he finds a friend. This would be a creative liberty straying from the text,
Which you've read.
which I've read.
Yes.
He finds a friend frozen in the lake who he realizes is betrayed him and is the reason his wife died. So now he's at the lowest moment of his life, but then he has a vision of Beatrice, and she helps him escape his own hell and escape into, here's the twist, the Purgatorio.
Whoa.
Dante's Inferno is book 1 of 3. So now this is where Robert Eggers can stamp his name on a trilogy.
Oh shit. 5 more minutes, Tanner.
Bingo.
Go.
So anyway, wait, how much time do I have?
You have about 30 seconds left.
Okay, so think of like the atmospheric dread. This is a place where souls are damned for eternity. They're not getting out. The punishments that the souls are going through are truly horrific. Think of like the grotesque realism he has, like when Nosferatu is like bleeding out.
Yeah.
It's a very visceral image. Everyone he's encountering, it would provide that same dread to the audience. The score would be incredible.
Epic.
You kind of go back to the music around that time. These like Gregorian chants, this beautiful orchestra, and it's kind of getting more eerie as his mental state's degrading as he reaches the bottom. I'm going to skip over some of the other notes I have because some creative liberties is a heavily Christian book, so it's kind of weird. Like there's one part of hell where there's just like gay people, and that's like the whole chapter is just gay people go to hell. Got to get rid of that. The reason his wife is in hell, video game actually does a great adaptation of it. Well, I'm running out of time, so anyway, that's kind of the idea. It's his descent to hell, his escape from hell, escape from his own personal hell.
Well, I am very happy to hear that we're not going to be in hell.
Yeah.
Some would.
All of gay people, me.
Every single gay person.
Yeah, crazy.
And it's great to see all of
And you know what's
in here.
crazy? You want to know what their
You can.
This is no longer part of the pitch.
Go for it.
I believe their punishment in hell is that snowflakes rain down on them, and every time they touch their skin, they explode.
Oh.
Whoa.
Because Dante says the punishment needs to fit the crime, and apparently being gay, that's
Yeah.
Wow. Well.
which in a way, I mean, he's got a point.
I mean, we did, you know,
Cut that, Tanner.
I don't edit this, but
I
wrote
do,
it,
and it
so
stayed
I'm
in,
okay
and I
with it.
doubled it.
Also, I left this out, but there's plenty of Greek mythology in there. So, like the animal on the poster, hear me out. In the circle of gluttons, a giant Cerberus is there torturing them the entire time. So on the poster, it'd be a giant Cerberus, a 3-headed dog, if you will.
A
Reference to Greek mythology. Yeah.
I love it. One of my questions is, what time period does this take place in for you?
It would be the 1200s,
Okay.
1300s.
Okay, so
Beautiful.
that is kind of beautiful.
Well, hell isn't, but your
is.
idea is.
Well, actually, it would be beautiful.
It would be horrifically beautiful.
It's beautiful in the way that the human experience and the pain and suffering are beautiful.
Yeah, this is for the common man.
This is for the common man. This is hey, Chris Nolan's doing the Odyssey.
Yeah, he is.
Why
That
can't
is
Eggers
true.
do Dante?
Bingo.
Why
That's
not?
crazy, yeah.
Did you guys know that, and I might be completely wrong about this.
Probably
this is
not.
just what AI says.
Sure.
It's called Dante's Inferno because the guy that wrote it is Dante Alighieri.
It's crazy. He put himself as the main character.
Wow.
Which
Wow.
is pretty
Nuts thing to
self-centered.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
He's repenting his sins on paper.
He's a bad dude.
Yeah.
Something only I would do.
Speaking of Dante.
Dante, yes, I
Whoa.
forgot, yeah.
Other than Dante here, who would you want to play him if you had any ideas?
Christian Bale.
Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That'd be sweet.
He would be Dante.
He would take it more seriously
Yeah.
than you even.
And-
He would take it.
I agree.
Not saying playing it. I mean, like if you spent 7 years writing it, he would spend 15 years training for
That is true. And here, Beatrice, we would get someone who's never acted. It would be the bustiest porn star you've ever seen, that it would ruin the film every time it cut to it.
Fuck yeah.
It would be so jarring. And it would be like, clearly Robert Eggers is banging this chick.
Man, I didn't know you had that kind of game.
It would be so distressing.
Who are you, Nosferatu?
Yeah.
This is also a 9-hour-long movie. I forgot to mention that.
Each part's 9
this
hours.
movie's for no one.
But the common man. No doubt. So
All right.
Ring.
Well,
it's going to be up to Robert if he wants to choose between the common man or nobody or whatever Matt has to say.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
Matt,
know.
who's your movie for? And 3, 2,
Oh
1.
wait, no, you got to let me open up my laptop.
Yeah, you got to
Tanner.
let
Come
him
on,
do his opening
man.
statement.
First of all,
Yeah.
you're new here. I respect you so much, but you don't tell me what to do.
Tanner, I've been on every episode.
Watching
I'm
over your
you.
shoulder.
You're losing it.
All right.
You ready?
Throw him into the fire.
You know the moment
Yeah.
that you say you're ready, I'm going to press this button.
I just get nervous, man.
He already
Especially in
pressed it.
front of new
This
guests,
is-
you know.
you're 9
3,
seconds in.
2,
Matt, I've been on
1.
every episode.
Yeah. Fuck.
Go.
All right. We open on the misty Atlantic through the fog. A massive Royal Navy merchant ship. The year is 1776. Supplies are being brought to British soldiers in the colonies. That is until they are attacked. Like this is like a master and commander type war sea battle by an enemy ship. Is this the Continental Navy? Maybe, captained by Jean-Paul Jones? No. None of such. Nay, these are pirates.
Ooh.
Pirates commissioned by the Continental Congress in March of 1976. Sorry to steal your almost pirate movie from a month ago.
I would never ask you to apologize for that.
In the Continental Congress basically allowed privateering during the Revolutionary War for them to basically roam the great seas, steal from the British, deplete their already wounded wartime economy, and undercut and trade goods with their allies to create diplomatic tensions. All right? This is the world we're in. This movie, there's already The Patriot with Mel Gibson. This movie is called A Patriot.
Ooh, I like that.
All right?
Good use of an article.
Thank you. Article's my name. All right. This is about Quaker pastor Charles Cullen. He is banished from his Quaker church. Obviously, the Quakers, they're peaceful people. They don't like fighting. After it's found out that he had a child out of wedlock. All right. By the way, our pastor is played by a Bill Skarsgård. Take the mask off him, finally.
Yes.
Let's get like
Yes.
faced Bill Skarsgård finally, you know?
Wow.
The woman he has a child with, Margaret Qualley. We got a busy schedule. She's coming in for 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
Why? Because they banish her and they banish him in different directions. Basically, he's thrown out of the entire life that he knew in these Quaker colonies right as the Revolutionary War is starting. He has no job, no money, no family, no reputation, no life. But the question is, does he still have God? Well, he's going to find that out once he joins a privateering ship during the Revolutionary War. Some people on the ship, they're patriots, you know, they're like, give me liberty or give me death.
Yeah.
Some people are like him, just wanderers. And some people are like war-hungry, crazy people. Some people are just trying to make a buck, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's interesting, you know? And like, this ship is going to kind of define what it means to be American because they're going to kind of figure it out and define it themselves as they're on the ship.
That's awesome.
I mentioned John Paul Jones because the Continental Navy fucking hates these pirate ships, right? Because they go over and they convince the Continental Navy. There's only 30 Continental Navy ships. They go over to the pirates. They make more money. They get to do more shit. John Paul Jones is played by Matthew McFadden of Succession. Plays Tom.
Fun.
Get it back in his British bag. And then I got the guy who commissions the ship, Nathan von Stuyvesant. It's played by Willem Dafoe, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is basically going to be about Charles Cullen, Billy Skarsgård, just like having a crisis of faith, as you see in these Eggers movies a lot, where, you know, does God exist? Does the witch, whatever it is, does it something exist? Is there a belief, you know? And it's like a crisis of his belief as he, you know, for lack of better terms, chases the bag, you know?
Very well put.
Thank you. The colonial bag.
As Eggers would say.
Yes.
Literally a bag of gold coins.
Yeah. And it's like almost like There Will Be Blood is in like, you know, like the chase for wealth in America mixed with like religion and all that kind of stuff in there. And it's like, this is me saying like Eggers, The Northman I said was my favorite Eggers movie, really only because like it's his least like mythical movie, and like the pillage scene in The Northman is fucking insane. When he catches the arrow, and then they come in, and it's a great action sequence. I'm like, this guy's like a good action filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he should like get into that. I want to see him out at sea. I want to see one ship attacking another ship, to put it pretty bluntly, and yeah, like let's get out there, and
Good for you.
he's gonna have some visions, of course. You know, it's an Eggers movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna have some, you know, weird visual shit go on, but it's all gonna be like in The Northman, like in his head / like his own belief of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's A Patriot.
I would love to see a pirate movie like that.
That is sick.
It's
That's
very
phenomenal.
real, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, like, if you just random question,
I got an ammo bit.
if you had an animal,
All right, I'm gonna actually put
you're gonna act it out?
like sort of. I gotta stay near the mic, but Tanner, can you hear me? Check the levels.
Bingo.
This is gonna be like the poster is gonna be like he's gonna be at the bow of the ship. I don't even know anything about ships. Is that the front? Hopefully.
Yeah.
God, I hope so.
It's gonna be at the bow of the ship, right? And it's gonna be like him, like just like soaking wet, like bloody, like in the middle of battle, holding up like the pelt of a what do the pelts come off of again? What animals?
All of them.
Bear.
No, like the
Well, whale,
what was
seal.
the pelt trade in the colonial time?
Beavers?
Beavers. Thank you.
Beavers.
Oh, thank
He's
Christ.
gonna be like holding up like 2 beavers, just like the pelts. Like this is like his this is what his life. It used to be about God, and now it's about riches, you know. And what did he do for it? He's gonna be like, it's all about beaver at the end of the day,
like
boys.
that.
Dude, I agree,
Yeah.
brother.
Nosferatu.
Can I pitch you a twist just on the poster?
Yeah.
Just to tank everyone's expectations.
Yeah.
You see the ship in the distance, and just at the bottom, you see kind of tentacles reaching up.
Oh
toward
yeah,
the
I was.
ship.
That was
and they aren't even. It's not even in the movie.
It's good. That would get a lot of
the
butts and
poster
seats.
artist just got bored. He's like, fuck it, let's just throw a Loch Ness monster in here.
Yeah.
I did have one other part of it too, by the way. Margaret Qualley, I mentioned she's the mother of his child.
Yeah.
The entire point of going on the ship is to, like in the Northman's, actually not really, but is to kind of like reconnect with his long lost love and the mother of his child.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of like his like odyssey of sorts to get to that
I
moment.
like that.
But like once he gets there, like will he be the same man he was before?
He will.
Thank you.
Spoiler.
He will
He's
be.
pretty good. Yeah,
he will
he's
be
like a
an
normal guy.
octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I love the idea. This is the perfect kind of episode, is when everyone kind of takes a slightly different lesson from the person that we're pitching to, otherwise known as me. And I think that historical, adaptation, and thriller are 3 great things to learn from this guy, whose movies I have no experience with whatsoever.
It's crazy.
You
'cause
just made the damn thing.
you just met him.
Yeah.
He was in the elevator with you.
Well, he was. You know when athletes like black out when they're in the zone.
Yeah.
Robert Eggers blacks out the entire process of making a film.
Yeah.
Hundreds
He's in
of
the
days lost.
Yeah. It's actually a horrifically sad story. He's a tormented artist.
I'm so
He
sorry.
sees Lily Rose Depp on the street. They're just like, who are you?
I've never seen you,
I think I saw you in The Idol.
which I loved.
But I'll say 3 great movie pitches. So I'm forced to start eliminating.
Okay.
First elimination,
On the first night.
and I'm sorry to say,
Could be me.
When someone adapts, I got to eliminate if all three are great. Angus out.
I get it. Because theirs were very creative. This
I
is
agree.
just applying the text
I-
to the silver screen.
And I think, and don't let me not choosing you trick you. Because that's
oh
what
no, Robert Eggers will. I truly believe he will make this movie.
Yes, I agree.
I actually fully believe that.
Robert, now Will won't come back.
Sorry, Rob.
Well, hey, you know what?
I'll come back for Grown Ups 3.
If ever.
That's awesome.
And guess what? My pitch for Grown Ups 3 is going to be
Grown Ups 4.
Adam Sandler, Dante's Inferno.
Kevin James is his wife. Yeah. He's busty as hell.
David Spade burns in hell.
I would say my next elimination, which I guess it's less fun to talk about eliminations than it is to talk about winners, okay? Because we're all about winners on this pod.
Rings culture.
I gotta say, I love Pirates, but oh my gosh, when I tell you Will Peters, I was legitimately kind of like,
Look at him, he's
during
so
the
nervous.
story, shocked. It got me.
You were stunned.
It was.
What was the name
back
of the movie
and forth
again?
in Time.
The cost of good art.
Yes, thank you.
triptych.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what the name of the movie was.
Colon
The cost.
Colon is
And
spelled out.
what was the tagline?
The tagline is?
Buckle up.
A triptych.
Buckle up, intellectual man.
The tagline is, this bus can't go below 50 miles per hour. The whole thing's gonna blow.
But yeah, so Peters, in a competition of wills, you came out on top.
Rob,
Wow.
can I call you Rob?
No.
Bobby?
Yes. Now you can, you handsome devil.
Thank you.
Well, okay. Well, Robert, thank you so much. It is an honor. But honestly, though, currently I feel like I'm on the podium at the Olympics. I feel like maybe I've won gold, but I feel like I've got two other medal winners standing right next to me.
Oh God!
Come on.
You're making me.
I just feel like every country's walking home with a little silver.
I'm telling my
bronze
therapist
or
about
gold.
this.
My mascara is gonna get everywhere.
Not on the couch again.
I don't envy your position, Robert, because these were three great pitches. But if somebody had to win, I'm so glad it was me.
I don't
Thank
envy your position, blacking out for 150 years.
What you do every year should not happen.
He's dying to stop making movies. He just wants to make enough money to quit.
So I hope that with this movie, which will make no money, I hope that your career.
What about
But
VOD?
it'll be in the-
VOD though.
Someone
VOD.
in 100 years, someone will pick it in their Criterion collection.
Yes.
And everyone watching go, what the fuck?
Someone in is it Fort Worth, Texas? Yeah. Someone in Fort Worth will be like, that's derivative of the costly price of art.
Derivative, a triptych.
A cryptic, sorry. And actually, when I watch it, I put it on subtitles and mute it because sound, of course, is,
It ruined everything.
yeah, ruins it.
I honestly feel like the sound is the weakest part of the film.
Sure. I put pieces of paper on the corner of my screens too.
Every frame a painting. But thank you, Robert.
You're welcome, Robert.
I'm Robert now.
Oh shit!
Did you just make me Robert by winning?
Wait a second.
This is like witchcraft here.
Yeah. this could be his next film. Now hang on.
Struggling podcast.
Hang on a second.
Okay, well, with that, I guess let's wrap this talkie up.
Yeah, this has been so fun.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Hard to do, but what would be your ranking of Eggers' movies? He's got 4 now?
He does have
Yeah.
4.
Which is insane because he feels like one of the biggest directors alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's like up there in terms of like original films. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would rank it The Witch, The Northman, Nosferatu, The Lighthouse.
We didn't get into too much Lighthouse.
We didn't. It's a movie.
I'm guessing it's not a favorite of either of us.
It's my favorite.
It's your favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly I attribute it to I should have watched it with subtitles.
Oh my
I
God.
truly
Yeah,
like.
you can't hear
I
anything.
just like by the end of it, I was like, I feel like I only got 33% of it. I got a third of it maybe. I love Rob. We've expressed a great admiration for Will.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the one I connected with the least. The Witch though I've seen a couple times now, and I really love The Witch.
The Witch is so your type of movie. I was thinking about that when I was watching it. Yeah,
It's great.
You love The Lighthouse though.
I do. Well, here's the problem. It is a big problem. I'm a prisoner to my expectations.
Yeah.
So I had no expectations for the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And so it just surpassed. And I was telling you, like Nosferatu, like I had really high expectations, and even though it was great, my expectations were too high.
Yeah.
So Lighthouse just kind of blew me away.
I wish that, and I watched it too late at night. It's a weird movie to fall asleep to.
Yeah.
I woke up and I was in like a onesie, like a white onesie.
Yeah.
Floor was covered in vomit. No, but no, yeah, I
Willem
just
Dafoe jacking off next to you. Go back to sleep.
that happens every night. But like I think that like there's like the inaudibility of it, but then also like it kind of adds to it too. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I want to watch it again.
Yeah, I feel the same.
enough.
I feel like I'd like to rewatch it.
So wait, so you're ranking Lighthouse 1?
Yeah, I would say, okay, Lighthouse 1. I haven't seen The Witch since it came out in theaters, so I don't remember, but I remember being like, that was awesome. So I'll probably say Lighthouse, Witch, Nosferatu, Northman.
Okay.
Even though I love all of them.
Yeah.
They're all awesome.
I go Northman, as I said, number 1. I'm gonna go Witch 2. Saw it today, literally. Witch 2. I thought that was a really, really like honestly his most loaded movie in terms of like what's behind the plot of it. You know, you could really think about that movie for a while.
Okay.
And then probably Lighthouse and Nosferatu least favorite.
Okay.
She's not a Dracula guy. I'm a Dracula guy in Jason Segel movies. Outside of that, not a Dracula
When they
guy.
sing and when they dance.
When they sing
And
and,
they're puppets.
when the people behind the puppets make out naked at the end of it, I'm into it. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, it's just we all had such different lists.
I know.
and such different varied pitches. So interesting to see what we all took away. It's
beautiful.
As Rob himself was saying.
I think my favorite Robert Eggers movies would probably be the Telltale Heart. It's a
he's short film,
a
yeah.
short he made
of course,
in
yeah.
2008.
Actually, you know what my favorite Eggers movie is?
Please.
What?
The next one.
Oh, Dante's Inferno.
The next one. No, this is like a $2 billion movie. It's more of a theoretical movie. It's gonna be like Megalopolis in production hell for 4 years.
This is gonna be like British Petroleum's first like original movie or something. It's gonna take like some like oil conglomerate to make it. Yeah.
All right, sure. What the hell?
Sure.
We get money to
BP
blow.
Plus.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we covered all bases.
We did.
I feel fulfilled.
Yeah. I feel fulfilled as well.
Will, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I'd love to come on again.
No,
when,
please.
When
Yeah.
a movie tickles my fancy.
Please, yeah.
I
Let us
mean,
know.
open
Look at
invitation.
The calendar. Look at the slate.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
it gonna be like?
Do you guys do any comedies on here?
We love them.
We
We
love
haven't
the
done enough
shuffle.
though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like that's really.
They just don't make enough current comedies for us to
They
like,
really
get in there.
don't.
And don't tie yourself to current movies like we do.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when Rusty came out, we did Orlando Bloom. Like we'll do any.
He was telling me that
Yeah.
we were talking about this. The movie hadn't even come out, and I was like, I want to do it for this movie.
Yeah.
So, but I know you guys do previous.
We could do,
movies,
yeah. We'll go wherever the winds take us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime. And just to like wrap it up, I listened to your pod. I know we just met before we did this, but
Thank you, dude.
I'm a big
appreciate
fan
it.
of your work, man.
Thank you
and
so much, dude.
Appreciate you coming on.
I had such a blast, and I've been looking forward to this for literally months. So
There we go.
This is I think the most original idea I've ever seen for a podcast. So
Wow.
I'm honored to be so early, a guest so early on the life of this pod.
Yeah.
The ground floor of the elevator.
Ground floor.
Yeah.
We're at ground zero.
We haven't even gone up at all. Yeah. So that feels good. Thank you for coming on, Will.
Let's end on ground zero.
Ground zero.
Matt,
Title
take
of
us
the
out of here.
episode.
We always sing a song.
All right. Hug your loved ones and good night.
Yeah.